Today we have Dr. Shreyans with us. He's a physiotherapist. He's done his master's in sports physiotherapy and he specializes in rehab and recovery for athletes. So we are just going to deep dive into the different kinds of injuries in each sport, and we are going to understand why athletes get injured. So, doctor, what do you think? What are the main reasons, or what are the kinds of injuries that we see in most athletes?
So to specify or will categorize into two parts. First is the intrinsic injuries which happen and another ones are the extrinsic ones.
Okay, so for people that don't understand the terminology, what is intrinsic and what is extrinsic?
Intrinsic injuries are anything which happens due to the internal body system like your suppose you're fatigued or your muscles are weak, something like that. And extrinsic are the injuries which happen due to external factors like a wet field or like while running you go and bang onto something. So those are extrinsic and intrinsic.
So, what are the different kinds of injuries that most athletes go through?
So to categorize them into two parts, intrinsic and extrinsic injury.
For people that don't know what is the meaning of intrinsic and extrinsic, can you just deep dive into what that means?
So intrinsic injuries are due to the factors which are from your body, like muscle weakness, overtraining, or suppose you're fatigued. So these are the factors which can be controlled. And extrinsic injuries are something which is not in your hands. Like the field is wet and you go and slip, or you go and bang into some another player. So those are extrinsic ones.
So, intrinsic are factors that are mainly in your control,
Yeah,
and extrinsic are something like an accident,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah.
If you slip and fall, you twist your ankle,
Yes,
there is a collision, you twist your knee,
yes.
something like that. So, if we have to kind of let go of factors that are not in our control, the extrinsic part, and we have to focus more on the intrinsic, which are factors that are in our control. What do you think are the main causes of injury if you take into consideration the intrinsic part?
So to start with, I'll go with the three major reasons why any athlete's body is prone to injuries. Those are sleep, nutrition, and hydration.
Sleep, nutrition, and hydration. So, what? Why these three?
So suppose if they are not sleeping well, they do not wake up well, they do not wake up fresh. The body is not recovered completely, and it is not just the body. You can say that the CNS system is also not that alert and active like it is after a well-rested body. So that can contribute to injuries there.
And what do you mean by CNS system?
CNS system is basically how alert you are or how active you are on field. Like if so, suppose you take two athletes. One athlete is sleep deprived from 2 to 3 hours, and another one is woken up fresh. You can make a difference between them in their body language and how they are reacting to situations on field and everything. So basically, that is the basic
So, your mental state of mind
mental state of mind. Yeah.
will come under the sleep part.
Yeah.
And do you think that is one of the most overlooked factors in athletes?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that nowadays the awareness is increasing because of the trackers which are available. Like there is a Whoop, there is some ring which tracks your sleep, and so people are monitoring their sleep right now.
So, a lot of athletes have gotten into using a lot of tech where they are monitoring sleep, they're monitoring recovery, they're monitoring. What about the nutrition and the hydration? How much do you think that affects injuries per se?
So let's start with hydration. Hydration, I feel hydration is one of the most important part when it comes to outdoor sports, like say a football game or a cricket game, where you have to be on the field for more than an hour or 2 hours. If you're not monitoring your electrolytes, if you're not monitoring the amount of water you're taking in, your body's in a state of getting cramps more often. And these cramps, if not treated well, they can lead into injuries as well.
What kind of injuries?
Suppose a hamstring cramp is there, and so we know the tendency of an athlete. If they get a cramp, they'll hardly rest. They'll rest for some couple of minutes and then they'll get back to play. So the tendency of recramping comes again, and this can lead to a hamstring strain like that. Yeah.
And you think nutrition or hydration is also one of the factors why injuries happen in athletes?
Yeah, it is. Like we have seen in the recently concluded ODI World Cup as well. Glenn Maxwell, he got more than 3 to 4 cramps during while he was batting against
A
Afghanistan.
full body cramps.
Full body cramps was a CNS cramps, which comes after your entire body is fatigued. So he got that
Physically and mentally.
physically and mentally. Yeah, because so see, I think that the hydration would be tracked, but considering the water loss from the body, it would have not been replenished enough.
And I think water as well as electrolytes,
Electrolytes is very important.
like all the electrolytes that you lose, I think athletes today don't really replenish the electrolytes. They drink enough water, but I don't think they're doing that extra recovery that is needed through the electrolytes.
Yeah, but for this also we need to keep in mind that not just electrolytes, because then you'll land into some lower body swellings or you'll get some nausea and vomiting if you just have electrolytes. So I usually recommend a 2:1 ratio. Like you need to have 2 bottles of water and a bottle of electrolyte. So that that balances.
Okay, okay. And what about nutrition? How does that come into the injury part?
Again, the nutrition factor, if you see the athletes in the top sports, they mostly follow a good nutrition. But what happens is when they travel and when they do not get the food which they are used to, so the portion size and everything also reduces there. So then, of course, so nutrition is your fuel, right? Once you do not have enough fuel, your body will get tired easily soon.
Yeah, yeah. And I think lack of nutrition, lack of sleep, lack of hydration, all of it together results in not optimal recovery,
Yes,
and that is what causes an injury.
yes,
So it's not so much that if I don't drink water, I'm going to get injured, but if I don't drink enough, I know I'm not going to recover, and then I'm not going to be able to play. But if I have to perform, I have to push myself, and when I do that, I'm going to get injured.
yeah. So it is a cycle.
Correct, correct.
So if you follow sleep, nutrition, hydration, your essential recovery is done by all these three factors.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you are playing more, then you might need additional recovery factors as well.
yeah. And so, out of these three, what do you think is the most overlooked?
I think the hydration part.
Hydration, not sleep.
No, I think because of the trackers available right now, recently they've started tracking it a lot, but there is no way of measuring hydration. Like, so every morning when you get up, you need to check your urine color. And there is a urine scale which is available. According to your color of the urine, it will give you an insight on how much is your body dehydrated. So when the tracker is available for any of these factor, mostly they'll be aware about their certain body.
Okay, okay. And what about other factors? Are there any other factors other than these three that result in injury?
Yeah. So let's start with strength. So let's start with strength and endurance, muscle endurance. So what usually happens is that the athletes, I'll say the cricket athletes, they play a lot of matches during the preseason, and there is less training. So what this does is that this decreases the muscle endurance to such a limit, because we've not seen any athlete train for muscle endurance. Like everyone is going there and just doing a lot of strength workout, like 10-12 reps max. And once your body is overloaded, once you've trained a lot, once you've played a lot, and then you come into some major tournament, then the strengthening which you have done in the off season, it helps a lot. But if your muscles are weak, and some though the muscles which are weak are more prone to get injured.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So,
yeah,
if I have to ask you the difference between, say, strength and strength endurance,
yeah.
what do you think is the main difference between these two?
So let's speak with a perspective for a football player. My strength is my ability to generate enough force to take a step forward in my stride, right? Where my muscle endurance is something which will help me run 2 to 3 sprints at a go.
Okay, okay. So, maximal effort
Yeah,
at low repetition
yeah,
is strength,
yeah,
as compared to strength endurance will be moderate effort
yeah,
but a lot more repetitions.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And at this point of time you think athletes train more for strength and not for strength endurance?
Yeah. Plus, here we can also speak about concentric and eccentric muscle work. So, if you see most of the exercises which the athletes do in the gym or they train are mostly concentric exercises. But so DOMS, DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. So it comes mostly because of the overuse of eccentric fibers of the muscle. So if you inculcate eccentric exercises in your training regime, you are less likely to get injured. Plus, you improve your muscle endurance faster than that.
Okay, okay. And for people out there who don't know what eccentric and concentric is, in very basic terms, what is eccentric and
So
concentric?
concentric is basically any movement where you're shortening the muscle. Like a basic bicep curl, you're shortening bicep. And eccentric is any activity where you're lengthening a muscle. Like when you're doing a elbow extension, your bicep is getting.
Okay. And you
But
think athletes don't focus so much on the lengthening part of the muscle, they focus more on the concentric, the shortening.
yeah, and lengthening has to come with some holds. So usually when you do an eccentric exercise, it has to be in a very rhythm, in a very slow and controlled manner, which will help you better improve the endurance.
So concentric, eccentric, we've understood. Now if we go back to the strength in strength endurance. Off season, more strength. In season, more strength endurance. Okay, okay. And strength endurance, I think a lot of people feel endurance is only related to running or cycling or any cardiovascular exercise. I don't think people train for the strength endurance part. And I feel it's not only the number of repetitions, but also your ability to hold the isometric part of the exercise. So, like you said, to be able to do the controlled eccentric, but also add isometric holds in between. And I think that is perfect for recovery as well as injury prevention.
Yes. So I'll tell you ki if you just add eccentric holds in your regime, you'll prevent most of the muscle injuries which happen to that muscle.
Okay. And uh, from a strength and conditioning perspective, what we see is there are two sets of muscles in the body. One are the big primary movers, and the second are your stabilizers or your balance related muscles. And where do we see more injuries happen?
Of course, in the prime movers.
And why do you think that is?
Yeah, so suppose I am, again, I told you it is because most athletes are not training for muscle endurance. So your body is able to sustain, say, for 15-20 minutes with the amount of strength you've built. But after that, when once your body gets tired and everything, then the endurance part kicks in. And then we can say, because prime movers are of course the muscles which are used more than the stabilizers in any sport, and when those muscles get fatigued, or when those muscles, we can say, the endurance wears out, then they get injured.
And you think the prime movers get injured more often than the
Stabilize.
stabilizers? Yeah. Okay. But contrary to what you are saying, don't we end up training the big movers more in the gym, and they are more capable of generating force? And whereas most stabilizers are overlooked by most athletes, and those have more chances of getting injured.
So I'll say ki if you train stabilizers well, your joint would be protected better,
Okay.
because the job of the stabilizers is to absorb all the joint forces which comes towards the joint and protect your ligaments and everything.
Okay. Okay. So the stabilizer muscles also hold the joint in place, which in turn prevents injury to the ligaments,
To the capsule.
to the capsule, to the soft tissue, all of that. Okay. Okay. Nice. So if we have to get, a few more of these, what do you say, components, like we discussed strength, then we discussed strength endurance. What are the other components that are responsible for athletes getting injured? I think flexibility and mobility is one of them, where if you don't have enough range of motion, that affects your performance. And any sport kind of requires you to push beyond your range, and when that range you're not comfortable in that range, you end up getting injured. So how first, what is the difference between mobility and flexibility?
So mobility is the ability of your joint to move in a particular range, and flexibility has to do more with the muscle tightnesses. Yeah. So as I mentioned about the eccentric loading and everything, when you do eccentric holds, when you lengthen the muscle, it contributes to your mobility and stability factors.
Correct, correct. And I think not a lot of people know this, but strength training correctly improves your mobility
Of course, yeah.
and flexibility when done correctly. Yeah, if you have gone your full range of motion, you've added a few holds, strength training improves it. And a lot of people have a very, very big misconception that you're going to get tighter,
If you do strength,
flexible
yeah.
if you do strength training. But I don't think that's the case, uh, because most athletes super fit, super flexible, and super strong. Yeah, yeah. Okay, sorry. So going back to
Yeah, so if you load the muscles well in a eccentric position, if you hold well at the end range, you will be able to see a difference in the end range which you are achieving. Like, so say for hamstring, suppose you are able to go just below your knee in the day 1 or day 2, if you loading it eccentrically, as you improve, your range will gradually start increasing, plus you'll also build eccentric strength for that muscle. So here, that is the game changer which I feel, which will help you improve the strength, muscle endurance, plus the mobility part of that.
so we've covered strength, endurance, mobility, flexibility. Are there any factors you think are responsible?
I think change of direction. Like, so most athletes, they do not train for agility and change of directions. So there is a difference between change of direction and agility as well. So change of direction is basically that, suppose when you are running straight and there is a track to your right, you know that you have to take a right. So that impulse of taking a right is present in your head, you know that that is a pre-feeded idea. But what agility is, and agility is more sport specific, that you do not know the direction in which you'll have to turn. Like, for example, for a badminton player, he never knows that he'll have to take a lunge to his right, a lunge to his left, or there can be a.
Yeah, forward or backward, you don't know. Yeah.
So people train for change of direction. Like the drills, if you see, most of the drills, there is a mark circuit and you have to cover that circuit.
There are cones marked,
Yeah.
and you run from one cone to the other.
Yeah. So that is a marked circuit, and that is good. That will help you build good change of direction abilities. But you need to train for that reaction time component as well,
Very, very big difference between agility
and change of
and change
direction.
of direction.
Yes.
Where change of direction, you know
Yeah.
where you're going to go, but agility, you don't know. You have to react.
You have to react at the given point.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, suppose if you're running towards me and at the last moment I tell you you have to take a right, your body will respond differently as it would have responded when you.
Know when I have to take. Yeah, yeah.
And if you see, most of the ACL injuries, they happen in this movement, this particular movement only,
Yeah.
where they have to change a sudden direction, or they have to decelerate suddenly, or they have to accelerate suddenly, or they land on a improper leg. Because again, that is all, you do not know where and how you have to react.
I think the four sports where we see maximum ACL injuries is football, basketball, cricket. No, not so much cricket. I think badminton. So football, basketball, badminton, and volleyball. Maybe rugby. I don't know. Maybe rugby.
I think rugby better than any racket sport, because there also you never know that from where the defender is coming in.
Correct, correct.
So there is a lot of agility and change of direction, lateral movements involved in that.
So football, rugby, basketball, badminton, maybe volleyball. I think these 4 5 sports have maximum number of ACL injuries. But these 5 sports are where maximum agility is required.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is why we see so many ACL injuries.
Yes. So just a small change in the training regime will help you react faster, and of course that will help you be more ready be more aware of the impulse which will be coming.
So more agility training,
Yeah.
more change of direction training.
More agility training, because change of direction is not that sport specific. It will help you train the directions in which you want to change, but it won't help you for the response you will give to the stimulus.
Correct, correct. Yeah. I think agility is more response to the stimulus.
Yeah, response to the stimulus. So it is, you can say, reaction time plus change of direction.
So strength, endurance, mobility, flexibility, change of direction, agility. Does that cover the whole injury prevention part, including the sleep, hydration, nutrition, or do we have any more?
Yeah, we have dynamic balance.
Dynamic balance. Okay, and for people, I'm sure people understand what balance is,
Yeah.
but for people who don't know what dynamic balance is, what is the difference between the two?
So when you're training for balance in a standing posture, or you're doing a some single leg balance exercises,
Okay.
that is static balance. Dynamic balance is ability to land on a single leg or on both of the legs in a more stable manner. Like balancing your body when you're landing from a jump, or landing from a turn, or when you're decelerating and landing, that is more of a dynamic balance. So if you see most of the balance training regime, they have a lot of static balance training. Like you have to stand on the Bosu ball and everything. That helps. But again, if you don't train for dynamic balance, your body, or you can say the muscle memory, won't go into that way of
Responding to the stimulus.
yeah, responding to the jumps and everything. So if you see, most of the ACL injuries, not ACL, any injuries, happen when there is not a proper landing mechanics.
Lower limb injuries, ankle, knees.
So if you see basketball injuries as well, a lot of deceleration, and you have to jump, you have to land and turn the direction. Injuries happen here. So there you need to train for a lot of dynamic balance, which involves a lot of hops, a lot of jump, single leg lateral hop, single leg forward hop, triple hops, do a crossover hop. These all tests will help you for that. Plus help you train.
So going in order, we did sleep, nutrition, hydration. After that, we did strength, endurance. After that, we did mobility, flexibility, and after that, we did agility, change of direction, and last one we did was dynamic balance and stability. Yeah. Anything else that we have left out when it comes to injury prevention part?
So this was all related to training and all related to preseason work. But athletes are not only found in gym; they do a lot of skill training in this phase also. And what I have observed is that most of the athletes, when they come to big tournament, the pressure of the big tournament of pressuring well, of performing well, is so high that they increase the workload for the training. Like for fast bowlers, if they are bowling like 5-6 overs per day in the normal season, just prior to a big tournament, they'll suddenly increase it to 8-9 overs a day,
Correct.
so that they'll be more accurate and
Yeah.
they'll be
So
more
what you mean
confident.
by skill practice is basically the practice sessions
Yeah,
that they do on field.
on field before any big tournament or anything. So there is a, we can say, a misconception that, not a misconception exactly, but you train more, you play better. But that training also has to be monitored well, or else overtraining leads to injuries.
Yeah. So I think load monitoring
Load monitoring is
is,
very important.
yeah, for any athlete, and a lot of times we monitor the load in the gym, but we don't monitor the practice load. Uh, like you said, if a bowler is bowling 6 overs and suddenly he goes and starts bowling 10 2 weeks before a tournament, there are more chances of him or her getting injured in the tournament. And same goes for any sport. If I'm practicing for 4 hours a day, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, throughout my off season, and just before a tournament, if I increase it to 6 hours, 3 in the morning and 3 in the evening, my chances of injury just go higher because I'm not doing anything else for my recovery, but I'm breaking down my body even more. And that is, I think, one of the major factors that affects performance also.
Yes, yes, it does.
Lack of recovery and overtraining.
So as I was telling you, it is a cycle. You focus on three main things: sleep, nutrition, and hydration. You focus on managing your workload, and you train well in off season. You are at your optimum body level then.
If we have to talk about the psychological part or the mental part, how do you think that affects injury prevention for an athlete?
I would specifically say about injuries. We'll speak about injuries, how the mental component impacts your injuries. So what happens is that when you come into any big tournament, like the expectations are high from your fans, from yourself, from the coaches, from the captain and everyone. And the things you do to get that confidence of which you can perform better contribute to the injury. Like we spoke about overload. When will you train higher? When you have to perform better, right? When so you know that the stress to perform better has to do with sleep. We have seen many things where people say, okay, I was not able to sleep a night before playing because that was just the stress which was building up. That also impacts the recovery. Then the food is affected and everything is affected. So that factor is, I think, one of the most neglected factor in any athlete. There are different scales available online where you can just type a athlete stress monitoring scale, and there are a few questions about the response of the athlete to any game situation. Like suppose he's not played well that game, or he has uh, been dropped out of the team, and how is the coping mechanism of that particular athlete gives us a feedback on how stressed that athlete can be during the
Correct.
tournament.
Correct. So you're saying before a big game, there is a lot of expectation. There are nerves. You don't know how you're going to perform.
Yes.
After a game, you don't know whether you're happy with your game or not. You
Yes.
don't know whether the coaches are going to be happy or not. So there is stress induced in both situations,
Yes.
before a match as well as after a match,
In a match as well.
in a match as well, of course. And because of the stress, the athlete doesn't sleep enough and sometimes doesn't eat enough. And all of these things in turn affect performance, doesn't recover optimally, and that is what leads to injury. I think, like you rightly said, one of the most overlooked factors for any athlete is the mental training part,
Yes, mental training.
and especially these kind of situations.
So the more training should be how you react to a particular situation. If you are able to react well, if you are able to take it very calmly and process it and just look it as a game of sport and react to it, then it is better. But most of the athletes we know, most of the athletes who perform in India, for them sport is everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, anywhere around the world, no? Yeah, not necessarily only India, but yeah, I think the mental training aspect extremely important, most overlooked, and I think all athletes should be consulting a sports psych uh, if they have to perform at their optimal level and perform consistently.
Even if they think that it is not impacting me, just go and
Correct,
visit your
correct.
sports psych once.
Yeah, and I
Because
think uh, not every sports psychologist works for every athlete, because their way of communicating, their process, everything is different. So I think it takes an athlete at least two or three different psychologists for them to even understand that, okay, this is the person that's working for me. It's not, okay, I'm going to go once and then I don't like it and I'm going to leave. It's not like that. You need to give it two three different attempts. There are a few athletes in one go, they just click with their sports psychologist and it works.
so basically the entire if to sum it up, what we can do is test everything what is there to understand your body better. Like track your hydration, track your sleep, track your nutrition, track your anxiety levels during the games and pre and post games, then track your workload, everything basically. So track it, then you'll be able to get an insight about it, and then you'll be able to work on it.
I think numbers and data is the next big thing.
Yeah, when it comes to sports medicine, yes, it is.
Getting some sort of numbers for everything in your performance and analyzing it and how you can make it better. I think that's the next big thing that's going to come.
It is already there in the skill aspect of the sport,
Yeah, yeah.
but it will be the next big thing in the sports medicine.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for covering everything related to injuries and injury prevention.
Thank you for inviting me over here.